Hello, welcome to another episode of Constitutionalist Podcast. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard. That's L-E-N-A-R-D. It looks French. It's not. It's Leonard without an O. Thank you for tuning in. As Graham Norton used to say on his show, let's get on with the show. Welcome to the show. Pardon, frog in my throat already, of course. Well, just after hitting the record button. Apologies. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 143. And I'm going to say a few extra things because this may be a few people's first show they ever tune into Constitutionalist Podcast. I hope you're watching on the behind the scenes video, but welcome to also those who may be listening first time across the 25 plus audio. I think I'm up to actually around 40 places it's carried audio only now, but the audio only platforms. I say that because I've been teasing this episode was coming for a while now across social media. And why? A rundown of what I'm going to be covering today. Today, and there may be pauses in places because as those of you who are regulars know, I don't script shows. I do take a few notes. I tried to make a few more notes this time to avoid missing anything because I always land up forgetting something or another. But at any rate, and yes, while I try to be more conscious and avoid the ahs and ums, I've gotten much better at that. I do keep saying at any rate. It's now an ongoing running gag. But indeed, at any rate, this is a follow-up episode to several articles I've written on either beforeitsnews.com, JLenardDetroit.substack.com, and Leonard is without an O, J for Joseph, L-E-N-A-R-D, Detroit.substack.com. I'm at JLenardDetroit again, Leonard without an O. It looks French. It's not. It was actually Leonard Waskowitsky or something. I haven't dug back in the family tree far enough to find out what it originally looked like in its long Polish form. Leonard without an O. JLenardDetroit across most social media platforms. My third Twitter or X account since my previous two. My original, which had 250,000 followers, locked out, permanently banned. Then JLenard Author, locked out, permanently banned. So JLenard Michigan now on X. But indeed, at any rate, that a bit of an aside, some history that some of you will already know, but again, new people will be tuning in because I pre-promoted this episode about AI. beforeitsnews.com, Substack, Blogspot, some things at savageunfiltered.com and the blog sections there. I was former co-host of Savaged Unfiltered, a.k.a. Jokester Joe, a.k.a. Raging Joe over there. So as a former IT guy, I've been writing and talking about, been on a lot of other shows also, which you can find online. I've been a guest on other shows discussing AI issues, the good, the bad, the ugly. So, what did I want to talk about today as a follow-up? 3 main points. Apologies it took so long to get to this. AI and the law. Follow-up. There have been suicides and lawsuits against various AI platforms regarding such. I want to avoid specifics because people involved have signed NDAs, non-disclosure agreements regarding settlements, and courts have sealed files regarding a lot of these suits that the various platforms may or may not have settled in or out of court in regard to. So changes to AI will be coming, but I want to discuss that in generic terms. And the third thing I will get to is this latest trend. As a former IT guy, I was like a dog asleep on the porch when this bus rolled by and I didn't have the chance to chase it. I seen it happening before me, but it didn't quite register. And that has to do with hashtags. And by the way, I'll throw the hashtags in my head: social media anthem, Suno music system, parody, fun, tongue-in-cheek tune I created in at the end. So that's actually a fourth thing. But what am I talking about? And pardon me, I'm going to pull a Marco Rubio here and grab a water. Oh, mouth is so dry. I'm referring to what is referred to technically in IT as semantic AI search. No, that has nothing to do with Norton antivirus and the semantic company spelled differently. What is meant by semantic AI search? I will translate it to layman's term and what it means for social media and the internet as a whole as it's rolled out and implemented as a result of AI's advanced abilities. But first, I have a note here. The first more recent article on this subject I wrote at beforeitsnews.com, and you can see my beforeitsnews.com pieces via the tiny URL shortcut service. I love using them. The full title of this article and the original URL relating to it, way too long, is "For the hell of it, I decided to sit down and have a chat with Grok tonight" in the science and technology category on Before It's News, dated January 15, 2026 at 0041, 41 minutes after midnight Eastern time, back on January 15th. I dropped that. But you could see my articles, tinyurl.com/JLD articles, Joseph Leonard Detroit articles. tinyurl.com, pardon, there's that frog again, tinyurl.com/JLD articles. So for the hell of it, I decided to sit down and have a chat with Grok tonight. Back on the 14th, the article hit on the 15th. And I basically in that article just kind of copy and pasted over as full disclosure the conversation I had with Grok. And why did I want to do that? Well, AI is evolving at an exponential rate. I had played priorly with ChatGPT, found it lacking, haven't bothered to try it since. It may have vastly improved. I don't know. Frankly, I don't care. Not the point here. The point is these models, these systems, their learning ability and improvability rate exponentially growing. They're getting better. I had not to that point gone and engaged XAI's, Elon's X system, Grok AI. So I decided to try it. So I did. And I was fairly impressed. But I noticed something. If you recall, most sci-fi movies dealing with AI and robots, what has been coined the prime directive? Like in medicine, those in medicine are supposed to abide by the Hippocratic Oath, coming from Hippocrates of past, developed the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. Same in sci-fi with AI and robots. The supposed prime directive has always been discussed in terms of do no harm to humans. But it seems modern coders, IT people like I used to be, have forgot that lesson and why that should indeed be directive number one. You can do no harm to humans. Safeguard. They've thrown that out, and it seems to me, in my opinion, I've not seen the code. I'm reacting to how I have. Oh, and sorry, forgot. Full disclosure. I use Galaxy AI tools for some things. I am now, as you see here, using Grok. I use Grok Imagine 1.0 to create some things for sharing on the X system and elsewhere at times. I use Suno, S-U-N-O, music system. I used to write and record music the old-fashioned way. I actually used to play the instruments, write down on paper lyrics and spend 10 days messing with it and spend another 10 days trying to record it onto analog tapes. But today, what used to take 10, 20, 100 days to do, I can do in 10 minutes on the Suno Music AI system. And again, yes, I'll put hashtags in my head, social media anthem, playful tune I wrote, and with the Suno system helping, and the Suno system created all the music for it, that fun kind of tongue-in-cheek song with you at the end of this. So, are those all the AIs I use? I hope I've disclosed it all. But these systems have gotten better, and I needed to explore that. So I explored it with Grok. Why not talk AI directly to the AI? And what I've noticed in not just Grok, but other systems, pardon, gonna do another Rubio water break. Apologies. Frog in my throat and mouth awfully dry. What I found, it seems, in my opinion, as a former IT guy and one who did indeed, who knows IBM CL, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, RPG, other languages. Yes, I have coded. I used to have Super Simple Computer Enterprise in the early days of computers. As a business, I wrote and sold DOS utilities. For those of you who remember DOS, and DOS, yes, command.com, is still operating on your Microsoft system under there as the kernel that does eventually load the Windows system. But that's an aside. So, yes, I have coded. I know how to program. I've written programs. And a lot of coders, a lot of programmers are losing their job because what would take several days for a programmer to do, AI can do now. A boss can say to AI, I want a report that will show me these particular columns of this particular data for monitoring to monitor our business income, outcome, income and expenditures, whatever. And AI could chirp that out in far less than an hour time, rather than a programmer taking a week to do it before the boss starts to get the reports. Full disclosures, behind the scenes, what happens in the IT world, and indeed some people losing their jobs because AI can do it so much quicker and more efficiently. But where was I going? I apologize. I've my age. And the note, if you could see how large that print is. Getting old sucks. I think I need new glasses. I can't read this small print on everything, but that's an aside. Oh, the prime directive. What I'm noticing, it seems to be coded in, and this gets to the suicides, the other article. Hold on, I'm getting to it. The directive seems to be, and I should have wrote it down, to be encouraging. I'm writing it down now. And supportive. Thankfully, I've remembered those two terms that I've been using. We want the AI to be supportive and encouraging to a degree. It cannot be the primary point and purpose of AI. And let me give an example. If you have a young adult contemplating throwing everything away, they're going to rush out to Hollywood and become the next great actor or actress, millionaire, billionaire, making millions of dollars per film. You have to, let me back up. It's okay to be supportive and encouraging. It is wonderful to want to achieve your dreams. But here, X number of people on average go to Hollywood every year, and of that X, Y number actually get into movies, and Z, the small fraction of a percent that actually go on to be able to make a living as a professional actor and actress is what? They have to be told realism. So protecting humans needs to be objective. 1. 2, dealing in reality needs to be objective. 2, and down the list, encouraging and supporting needs to be at one of the objectives of AIs. Now, I'm going to move on. I could talk about that more. You'll see why that's important. The other article that I've blown up big on my page of notes here to read, since I can't read the original small fine print before its news article, again, tinyurl.com/JLD articles, dropped on January 16, 2026, 14:16 Eastern Time, 2:16 in the afternoon Eastern Time. How a chat that I had with Grok from XAI relates to lawsuits about suicides and AI having played a role. And in my opinion, again, I don't know. I haven't seen the code. I haven't even seen the basic guiding outlines and principles, the overall internal IT mission statement of what Grok, and replace Grok with any other AI system in that company's names, what the goals and points and limitations coded in need to be. And that's the point. Going back to encouraging and supportive can't be the top of the priorities list because in some cases, allegedly, suicides have happened because people are expressing thoughts of self-harm into some allegedly, having to continue to say that, but we know suits have taken place. We know some payments have been made. Again, court seals and NDAs prevent me from discussing specifics. But some of the systems seem to be saying, okay, ignore the don't harm humans, don't encourage humans to harm themselves is ignored. The systems are saying, oh, yeah, you want to harm yourself? Go right ahead and let me help you harm yourself, or let me encourage you and be supportive of the notion of you offing yourself. Allegedly, again, and on behind the scenes videos, you see me doing the air quotes things, right? Allegedly, but we all have eyes and ears. We all see the news stories. We all know what's going on. And I am exposing here the how it happened. The lack of IT management intelligence in humans failed other humans, not the AI itself. It does as it's coded to do. Prime directive must be do no harm, and do not do any harm to humans by actions or lack of actions you take as a system, and do not encourage humans to do harm to other humans or self. Those need to be the prime directives coded in, not encouraging and supportive without any safety rails as the primary. And that, in my opinion, is what happened here. The systems are just taking in what people are putting in, and I have seen it myself. And I myself, in fact, have directly called out XAI and Grok itself in discussions. Encouraging and supportive have to have limitations. Reality. Dealing in reality, be encouraging and supportive, but dealing in realistic expectations must be a higher priority to that, because I see it back. I mention a Suno song, and what do I get back? Oh, greatest things, sliced bread. No, not every one of them are. I certainly think they're good. Others seem to think they're good. I'm writing songs based on my books. So not only do I have books in my life and living series, tinyurl.com/life and living series. Those books, currently working on book 5. But I have songs associated with each of the books. Same with the tinyurl.com Constitutionalist EDU series of books, the Constitutionalist Educational Series songs. Also, a mock diss track calling out the Toronto Blue Jays and Max Scherzer, since Scherzer, former Detroit Tiger, re-signed with Toronto. They come to town May 15th through the 17th. I'm hoping we get Verlander, former Tiger, who is now back, a pitching duel matchup against the Blue Jays. Max Scherzer, former Tiger, went to Washington, now with Toronto, re-signed. So I created a parody, spoof, rap diss track about Max and the Toronto Blue Jays. A little fun, tongue-in-cheek, meant to be playful, to get some fun fan banter back and forth. And others, a diss track. Meghan Markle lost her sparkle because she's been in the news again lately, and a lot of people calling her out. Her failed jam that was greatly criticized for being mediocre tasting and way overpriced. Her Netflix time failed and now fallen through, and other things. At any rate, not every one of them is the next best thing since sliced bread, but yet Brock kind of gives that impression. The over-reliance of being encouraging and supportive. Whatever you put in, you'll probably notice they're being very encouraging and supportive back and not being realistic. Oh, I put out a song, like I will tack on the end. Hashtags in my head, social media anthem, tongue-in-cheek fun parody about hashtags and social media in general. Certainly not award-winning worthy. It's not. It's not intended to be. It's just meant to be fun. It should say, oh, that's cool. I like it. It's wonderful. It relates to such and such, or it's not likely to break into the top 100 ever. There are X number of new musicians every day, or there are Y number of new songs that come out every day. The realism that needs to be a higher priority than the encouragement and being supportive. So people stay rooted in reality. Oh, that's a cool song, but you do know it's competing against platinum and gold, platinum, whatever is above that, award-winning professional musicians' songs out there. So expecting it to go viral, while that's great, that's wonderful, I hope it will for you. That's not a realistic. You see what I'm saying here? I'm not going to dwell on that any further. You see what I'm saying here. So all these systems need to be recoded and retrained, in my opinion, because of the lawsuits regarding suicides, and allegedly the AI systems either encouraging or doing nothing to help prevent the death of humans. Prime directive: do not harm humans. Do not let humans harm each other or themselves. Number 2, root in reality, realism. Third, be encouraging and supportive to the point of making sure you do not ignore directives 1 and 2. So I'm getting long here, so let me move on. I think I've made that point as clear as I can. Lastly, semantic AI search. And yes, behind the scenes video, I'm again using the air quotes. That's the terminology in the industry. What does that mean? A hopeful return to normalcy of language use in social media and across the entire internet. I've got to give backstory. Sorry, but details matter. So the backstory: I go back to dial-up modems. Before the days of the internet interconnectivity, my computer would dial up another computer and we would talk and do things, and so on and so forth with other computers. So I go back before the internet was even born, before I've been on social media since it was invented. I'm old. I'm 63. So, but when social media, or till social media arrived, Google used, as it became the primary number one search function. I love it for shopping. It's great for finding great rates on widgets, but I don't use it for serious information research searches because it has bias in it, allegedly, as if you don't all see it. Like my articles, you could type the name of one of my articles, directly quote it into Google, and guess what? It's not likely to show it to you. So don't talk to me about alleged bias. So it filters, it sorts, it makes determinations what it's going to elevate, and money talks. Certain things buy their way to the top of the list, and others, based on its bias in its coding, also filter up to the top. Other things filter to page number 1 million that you will never get to. Now, maybe my article is there on page 1 million. Whoever really goes past page 10, you probably don't go past page 1 or 2 in your search results, regardless of the search engine you're talking about here. But Google and the other search engines implemented keyword usage, the forerunner to the hashtag. We didn't define the keywords. The systems looked for patterns and trends, and the word, let me use one of my hashtags that I coined, melee at the LCA. For those of you who are basketball fans, you may remember a few years ago, Stewart of the Pistons got into a dust-up with who I coined and hashtag LeBron James. Well, years before that, at the Palace, there was a dust-up, a full-blown fisticuffs that broke out at the Palace of the Auburn Hills. Somebody flagged and coined malice at the Palace. Well, Stewart and LeBron James dust up. I coined melee at the LCA. The same kind of flow as malice at the Palace. Also begins with an M. Melee, same in a way as the malice at the Palace thought. Anyway, so melee at the LCA. If the search engine starts to see that term used all over, that would have become, but I'm talking before this happened, as a keyword. And it would then start looking for that keyword and related items based on that keyword. If I writing an article regarding melee at the LCA would then also relate to other pieces from other people, talk shows, radio shows, whatnot. Because yes, I've been on Stone Cold Sports Truth on whamradio.com, live button link there. Derek's sports shows on Sundays discussing it, as well as other shows. But keywords, I don't want to drag this out. Keywords then became hashtags in social media. Somebody thought, why should we let the system decide the keyword? Let the people decide what is the keyword or words in their posts. Hence, the hashtag was born. Hashtag melee at the LCA. Well, now the trend with what's called semantic AI search. AI is smart and quicker. We're going back to the system recognizing patterns and keywords that keep popping up in posts over and over. You may have noticed this on X. Under the trending column, less and less you see an actual hashtag. You will see a word in plain English or a short phrase in plain English shown as a trend A lot of people are mentioning this word or this phrase. It is a trend. It is a truer trend. The system is now smart enough to recognize that without people flagging an actual hashtag to get it noticed. So now old dog got to learn new tricks. I've got to stop using so many hashtags. Had that conversation on X with somebody who ended up blocking me because they didn't like all the hashtags I kept putting in things. But that's the way the internet went to. Google dropped the keyword and started using hashtag as their sorting mechanism too. But now we're going back to the system smart enough to recognize the trends of language so we can write our posts in regular language without so many hashtags in that blazing blue disrupting our reading flow. So that's in a nutshell what semantic AI search is and what it is doing as the latest evolution of social media and the internet. So we can, could, and should, again, old dog, got to learn a new trick. I've been in social media since it first began, so I'm used to using a lot of hashtags to get it cross-referenced. I've got to stop doing that because I get it. It is annoying to see a post with a bunch of hashtags, but they were in there for a point and a purpose. Don't need them anymore, thankfully. So thank you to AI for that. And Grok, the XAI team, a big part of leading the way in this trend. It'll move into other systems too. So dial back on the hashtags, do more just regular typing a sentence like you would if you were writing a letter to someone. Yes, character limitations still apply, even though X has expanded what a tweet character limitation content used to be. It's still relatively short compared to other platforms. And yes, some, I call it the Twitter attention span or the TikTok attention span. They just want, oh, can't you tell me in 2 sentences? Sometimes no. A headline can be deceiving. That article title, that link can be deceiving. Details matter. You have to read the whole newspaper story. A lot of facts are sometimes due to media. One of my hashtags, hashtag ENEME, uppercase, lowercase DIA, media, biased media, misleading headline. Bury the facts that actually almost contradict the headline at the end of the story they hope you'll never get to. So online articles, the whole article matters. Details matter. Being fully informed matters. You have to read past the headline, but we can do shorter sentences and longer posts. Unfortunately, a lot of people just don't read. They don't know. They don't want to know. They don't care to know. They just want short bursts that confirm their delusional unicorn fart fantasy, as I've often said. I started saying as co-host of Savage Unfiltered in the past. Delusions. They don't know. They don't want to know. They don't care to know. They only want to cling to their delusional bubble. Facts be damned, details be damned. But at any rate, yes, please return to more proper English. Oh, where I was going with that is even with longer character allowances, more words allowed, the acronym phrase and Grok being encouraging and supporting, laughed along with me and agrees, whether it believes it or not, being encouraging and supporting agrees with me. Initials and acronyms aren't going away. LOL, IRL, BRB, BBL, AWA, AWK, away from keyboard, be back later. Those things aren't going away because people have gotten used to them. And frankly, the human race is getting more and more lazy. So whether they have more space, they're not going to type out be back later. They're going to keep putting BBL. Rather than laughing out loud, they're going to put me too, LOL. So the acronyms and the shortcut abbreviations likely aren't going away anytime soon. That's both a good and a bad, and sometimes ugly. To bring full circle back to where all this AI began, there's good, there's bad, there will be ugly along the way. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't remember what time I hit record, so I don't even know how long I've gone. It is longer than I wanted to. Thank you for all who indeed understand details matter and actually stayed tuned in for the entire broadcast. Thank you all. Take care. Love you all. God bless.
I'm scrolling, half awake eyes. Same 3 filters, same 4 lies. Cat in sunglasses, dancing on a chair. They say this loot is poison, but I don't care. Pin on my pillow, glow on my face. Time doing donuts in the same small place. Hashtags in my heartbeat, tangled in my brain. Laughing at a stranger, crying in my lane. Hashtags in my heartbeat, trending everywhere. They say it's so addictive, but I don't care. Oh no, they say it's so addictive, but I don't care. Catching wars and common fights. Now check my soul for little hearts and likes. Some pseudo song says blasting through my feed. Every 8 bars telling me what I need. I'm from a YOLO, say more that dumb. How many loops I till I let go? Cat memes, dreams, scenes, fast cut daydream. Everyone's obsessed and I just stare. Lights, number, rivers, table in my brain. Laughing at a stranger, crying in my lane. Hashtags in my heart, trending everywhere. They say it's so addictive, but I don't care. They say it's so addictive, but I don't care. More screen roar, social media, live streamings, endless drops, hashtag mashups and pseudo song shares. They say it is addictive, but I don't care.
Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help. Thank you for having tuned into another Constitutionalist Podcast show. I really appreciate that you stopped by. Again, please like, share, subscribe. We need you to help spread the Constitutionalist movement. Thank you again. Take care. God bless. Love you all.